Well, hello, everyone. I am so excited for today. If you don't know what we're doing here, I just want to share we're celebrating these graduates. We run a beautiful program. Jenny Reyes and myself run this beautiful accelerator program. And these ladies have not only accelerated, but they have so much clarity, which, of course, as we all know, turns right into confidence and then taking courageous actions that the outside world sees as momentum. So, what I really would love to share today is a little bit of an introduction of these beautiful graduates. And then we're going to kind of go on a journey of where they started and where they are now. And we're also going to be bringing in some guest speakers. And so, with these guest speakers, they're going to talk about, from this graduate perspective, is what's next. You are a thought leader. You have stood up. You have claimed your spot. You have your branding all dialed in. You've got your messaging all dialed in. You've been practicing on stages. But what does it take to continue that momentum and get people like these guest speakers to pay attention, notice you, and get invited to other stages, not just the ones that my warm audience has invited you to, but stages that even I haven't been invited to yet. And that's super exciting. So, Jenny, why don't you just go ahead and introduce yourself as well, and then we'll start this off.
Oh, thanks, Debbie. And I'm glad we're here. I'm glad I was able to make it. Congratulations to Lani and Sofie. Hello, everybody. I'm Jenny Reyes. I work and collaborate with Debbie on a program called Leadership Momentum Accelerator. And this is exactly what we're doing, where we have people who have a mission and they have a message. Me with the feedback? No?
No, Lani,
Okay.
you mute. I'm not sure where that noise was coming from.
All good, all good. And we look at the brand and we look at the pathway and the things that you would love to bring to the world in terms of the message that you've shared. And together with Debbie, we get the clarity and, as you said, the confidence and then the consistency that's built in as well in this program. And that's part of what we do as integrating it. And that's what Debbie and I do well together, is when we put it all together so that it looks like a tiny, neat package, which you've already had really to begin with, and it's just amplified. I hope that helped answer the question.
Yeah, I think this is really such a beautiful example of not only what we do, what our gifts are, and how we bring them to the table, but you're also going to witness the transformation. So why don't we start with introductions? Lani, why don't you go first and tell us, where you're coming in from, and then also where you started in this journey, because you brought a lot of experience with you. You're muted. You're muted, Lani.
Oh, she was saying her StreamYard is kind of in and out. Oops, you're still muted, Lani.
Can you hear me now? You can. Okay. My end is kind of sketchy, so I hope that you all can. Oh, I hope you can hear me. I'm in Hawaii, and I'm wearing this kukuile because the kukui tree represents enlightenment and wisdom, and it's sort of it also keeps me grounded and keeps me rooted. The image of the kukui tree. And as Debbie said, I came with a lot of experience, lived experience, what I call the BTDT degree, the been there, done that. But really I have felt for a long time that I had this calling to help guide others through life challenges. And in some ways, I kind of backed away from that. That seemed a bit of a heavy load. On top of what I had lived through. And so connecting with Debbie and Jenny, specifically in this program, was really a decision to honor that calling. And it's been quite a journey. It's not called Accelerator by accident. You definitely, once you make that commitment, it really opens up the doors. And one of the things we talked about along the way was sort of our vision. And for me, it became this vision of a sailing canoe, since we have that in Hawaii, and that I was building my own canoe that was going to take me around the world to share my message. But there are times when it's not just calm seas. It's not, smooth sailing. And so learning to ride the waves is really, yeah. It's a thrilling, exciting ride. And I think that's the emotion that's coming up is, just sailing through the fear, sailing past it, leaving it behind, and really committing to fulfilling my purpose. So thank you.
We love you and adore you, and we adore your message. And thanks, Nicole, for being here with us, just sharing your thoughts, because you have also watched this unfold from the inside as a student, but also from the outside, watching the growth here. And Lani, what a couple things that reminded me, and I just need to speak it, is that this is us knowing that this is real life, right? This isn't the take these 3 steps and you're going to have all the fame and fortune. It's real life integrated in the middle of this. And that's fears do come up. Travel does come up. You can see that Jenny Reyes isn't in her normal spot. She's actually in New Zealand right now. And I think it's really important for us to remember that we want all pieces of you coming in. We want to know the fears. We want to know the struggles. We want to know what you've tried before. We want to know your experience. And we weave that in to bring the whole self forward. So everything is honored and seen and heard and expressed in your branding, both your visual branding and the words that you use. And Lani, when you were just sharing that emotion, that is who you are. We have witnessed it over and over again. When you are passionate about something, some people get, goosebumps, God bumps, and some people have tears come and they choke up. And it's all perfect because we know this matters to you. We also know your lived experience of why it matters. And I think that's really important, that then we help you, guide you gently and yet accelerated to push you out of the nest to say, we've got you. We've got your back and you can do this. Not only do we believe in you, but there's a whole bunch of people out there waiting for your wisdom. And that's what I've seen happen for you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So beautiful. Okay, Sofie, could you go ahead and tell us where you're coming in from and a little bit about where you started this journey?
Yes. So I'm in Portugal. And yeah, where did I start? It feels already so long time ago to remember. Yeah, I think I had like kind of a bit of pieces of the puzzle, and yeah, I think what this journey took me on is a lot of reflection and going deeper into, yeah, like that authority that you guys are always speaking from to claim it, and I think that's where the path has taken me to kind of see, I guess, somehow, well, my worth or the deeper version of it or so. And then also, well, basically seeing it for myself, and yeah, then claiming it as you guys always well call it, and yeah, then taking that along and taking steps forward with what I own now somehow, I guess.
Yeah, so we've watched that unfold as well. And what's really interesting, and I don't know if either one of you want to speak about it before we turn this over to Jenny, but what's really interesting is that every week we kind of go through an activation. We kind of go through a remembering. And that's really part of us going deeper and getting to know you really well. What are the words that come out? What was the vision that you've seen? What was possible that you hadn't seen before? And how much support do you actually have behind the scenes? I think that a lot of us can feel really alone in our journey and in our desire to create this movement or get our message out there. And we can feel like maybe no one really understands. And truthfully, speaking on my own behalf, is maybe I didn't fully understand. Maybe I didn't really own into what was possible if I truly stepped into this. And so do either one of you want to talk about what those weekly sessions, not just the tactical skills, but that remembering, how that helped along the journey as well?
Yeah, I will definitely say that having a community, and not just you and Jenny, but everything behind you, the team, and really helped with the confidence to step forward in many ways. But those weekly intention settings and guiding us a little bit deeper every time was sort of gosh, I can't think of the word right now, but it helped us step a little bit forward, but also bring the best of the past with us. So it was letting go of some things, but it's like claiming what was the best of the past and bringing that on board. For me, on board my sailing canoe, and then nudging us a little bit forward. So it wasn't, well, I said it was an accelerator. It wasn't this just all of a sudden push and there you go and have a nice time. It was, we're going to move you every week in ways that we probably didn't expect. And so it was a nurturing, nudging movement that we didn't, and sometimes for me anyway, in some ways I didn't always feel that there was a rush, but definitely felt a nudge.
I love that. That feels very true to me. Sofie, do you want to speak into that?
Yeah, sure. Well, yeah, I totally second what Lani just said. So I'm not gonna kind of repeat that, but yeah, I think for me, these sessions, I think, let me go dig deeper every time, kind of into myself as well, and what my voice eventually feels and could look like, or sound like, maybe. Yeah.
Well, and if I can also add too, sorry, Debbie, I didn't mean to jump in, but it's more of clarity at every step, right? That's exactly what we're going for. And we talked about that earlier, is we get where you're at the moment. It's not trying to fit you in a box, or not trying to, shape you the way it's supposed to be, but it's like, here you are, this is what you would love to own. This was the vision. We always start with that. And then the clarity that's refined throughout, which is why, Lani, why it feels like they're just small nudges. It brought to mind what Dean actually is always the one that says, where small hinges swing big doors. And so, we make a small tweak here or there. It's not something that you hadn't already known and done, or at least had in mind. It was just, how do we refine it so that it comes out the way that you intend. So I hope that helped kind of shape that together, Debbie. And I saw you were going to unmute, so I'm going to turn it back to you now, since I jumped in there.
No, I was glad that you jumped in. I think it's time for you, Jenny, to talk about, well, I'm gonna start this off. I'm gonna presence Jenny, because she Jenny is often seen as the person behind the scenes doing all of the magic, but I really want to bring her to the forefront right now, because not only does she see all of these things, she also has a team that helps build out it in graphics so that you can see it as well. So this isn't a rebranding. That's not what we do here, but we do need to see and do an audit. Is everything aligned? Are you showing up in your inner world and your outer world together? Is there truth? And then is there truth that others can see? And so Jenny's got such a beautiful eye for that, and bringing in those just little things, like she said, tweaking it to make sure that not only is it congruent, so you can build trust so that you can actually claim your spot. You claim it over here, but don't claim it over here. People are like, what? She's two different people. We bring all of you back and then launch it. And so, Jenny, I think that it's perfect time for you to hand out the gifts.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. Okay. So I know, like, at the beginning, are you sharing screen, Debbie, or you'll do it? You have it both. Awesome. Okay. We always start with your brand and all of that. So Sofie will show you yours. What Debbie and I have done for all of our accelerators is to create your speaker one pager for you from the brand that you had. I think I'm only seeing the back page of Sofie's. If you want to flip to, and there's Lani's. So that's part of Sofie's. And so we take your branding, your colors, your words, and I know it's kind of like a flash on the screen, but we turned it into a speaker one page. And it has actually all your brand colors on a different slide, so that you have that as well. Everything that you've told us for Adventure Alchemy, Sofie, and what you want to do. And it captures signature keynotes and signature programs that you had talked about. So in one page and in one glance, people can already see and understand who you are, what you talk about, what you bring to the table, and who it's perfect for. And then, of course, they have their connection point. So we're seeing on the screen right now, so the back page of Sofie's. And earlier, Sofie, you had the one at the front. And then Lani, you have yours as well for Alakai Associates, because I know that was your brand when you came in. And I know I'm jumping between the two, but Sofie, you know, if yours has the speaker series and the keynote that you talked about of surfacing slowly is there. Those were your words, and that was your concept, like a scuba diver. It resonates a lot with me. And then for Lani, yours as well, like Remember to Breathe is a signature keynote that you've had. The books that you have are on your page. So it's just a little thing that Debbie and I put together, really, both of us. I mean, yes, there is a team that lays it out as a visual and puts all the brand colors there, captures some testimonials that you've already had. Now you might see there's a little box. You'll get the link to this, of course, so that you can use it. You can tweak it as much as you'd like. But there is a small, tiny box there for a QR code. And the whole idea is that with that QR code, you can put either a call link or a link to your website or a link to whatever it is that you're doing, so that people can find you when you send that out. So that's kind of the intention there. So surprise.
Thanks, Jenny, so much for that. And I'm sorry that the presentation didn't work like it normally does. And that's on me. But what's really interesting, and you guys will get the link, not just the link to the actual PDF or graphic, but the template, because you're going to continue to evolve, to grow. Your signature talks are going to change. The QR code that you want to send them to is going to change as you evolve. But we wanted to give you something not only as our gift to you for the work that you've done, but also for us. Let's be honest, that we want to put you on stages. And in order to do that, as you guys have both stepped into the mentor program, is how do we get you stages by showing, literally handing out this one sheet. So Jenny and I probably were like always nudging, hey, you guys, you need a one sheet. Hey, you guys, you need a one sheet. And finally we just said, let's give it to them as our gift. So speaking of gifts, we actually have another gift right now, and it's a gift as in a guest speaker, somebody that not only has been doing this, but also recognizes what's the kind of myths or gaps or opportunities for improvement. And so we brought in people that we build stages with, have been on stages with, support stages with, and we wanted them to be able to share from their lived experience and the wisdom that they have, and also maybe in some cases what they teach others. So this is also a really big gift because you're getting a special training. So our first guest right now is Dr. Anna Thomas. And Dr. Anna is somebody that I have gotten to know really well, as she has been part of the Women's Journal. The Los Angeles Tribune Women's Journal is something that we belong to together. And we have met many extraordinary thought leaders in the middle of that. What has also transpired is we start to see not only their message, but then all of those gifts that are part of that. It's also what we do inside of the Shine Circle. We want you to have a stage to speak on and teach and practice. But then as you're doing that, other people naturally get to know you. And speaking is such an amazing tool for that. So Dr. Anna, I'm going to bring you up. And I'm going to hand it over to you to introduce yourself. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Perfectly. I want to thank you first and foremost for being so generous with your time. And then I also would love just to hand it over to you to spend the time sharing with all of us some of the things that you've learned along your journey.
Absolutely. So good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Debbie and Jenny. Thank you for inviting me. Sofie and Lani, congratulations. Congratulations as graduates of the Leadership Momentum Accelerator. I hope you know that we are so excited for you and what the future is going to hold for you as a result of everything that you've learned. And I know that you have some excellent mentors, including Debbie. But today I want to start with a question for you. How many of you here, for those of you who are graduating, or maybe those of you who are watching, would you like to speak on more stages? Would you like to grow your business, your coaching, your consulting program through speaking? Because speaking is one of the best ways to do that. Would you like to get booked more often? Would you like to have event organizers invite you back to speak without having to submit more and more applications? See a lot of nods, yeah. See, the thing is, a lot of speakers spend the bulk of their time when they are searching for events, tweaking their website, making sure their one sheet, and you got an excellent one sheet today, their one sheet or their speaker reel looks good, thinking that that's the reason, or that's the thing that's holding them back. But after the last several years of speaking and coaching speakers and organizing events myself, one of the things I've learned is that event organizers, they're actually asking a very different question. And the question that they're asking, it might surprise you. It's, would I trust this person with my audience? And I want you to sit with that for a moment. Let me introduce myself. So Debbie gave a brief intro. I'm Dr. Anna Thomas. I'm a physician, and I speak on workplace well-being and caregiver advocacy. That's what I speak on. And over the last couple of years, I've had the opportunity to speak on a variety of different stages. TEDx stages, leadership conferences, virtual summits, Disrupt HR, professional events. But today when I'm speaking to you, I'm not speaking to you from the perspective of a speaker, but as a speaker coach and an event organizer. Because over the last couple of years, I've also been running virtual events, summits, where I'm reviewing speaker applications, selecting speakers, coaching them, organizing these summits. In fact, right now, I'm preparing for our upcoming summit, Finding Your Voice, which is going to be on July 11th. It's a free virtual event. Love for you guys to join us. But as I've been reviewing applications, it's reminded me of something important. Getting booked once and then getting invited back, they are not the same thing. Many of the best opportunities that you get, they don't come from that first application. They come from the referrals, the recommendations, the relationships. One organizer telling another organizer, you should talk to her. And that is another reason why being in a community like you are in right now is so important, because of those relationships that you have with each other, and that you're able to provide those recommendations and referrals for each other and other members for you. So today I'm going to pull back that curtain a little bit, share what event organizers are looking for. And in my experience, they're usually trying to answer 3 questions. Are you the right fit? Are you a safe bet? And will you make me look good? So let's start with the first one. Are you the right fit? See, one of the biggest mistakes that speakers make is assuming that event organizers are looking for the best, biggest speaker. We're looking for the best speaker for this audience, for this event, for this moment. And for each one of you, that event and that moment might be a little bit different, but there are events where you are the right one. As I'm preparing for the summit that's coming up, I've looked at a lot of applications. Some speakers made the decision incredibly easy. Their topics aligned perfectly. I could tell from their proposal title, from their description, that all of it is clearly connected to the audience. They put in the time to make sure that it aligned. I could immediately see where they fit into the event experience. But others made me work a lot harder. For example, I got some applications focused on burnout. Burnout's important. It's a topic I speak on myself, but it wasn't the focus for this summit. This summit was about communication. Burnout's my next summit. The issue here wasn't that the speaker wasn't good. It wasn't that they didn't have expertise, they didn't have videos. No, the issue was the fit. So when you're applying for events, your goal is not to convince the organizer that you're amazing, but to convince them that you're the right person for this audience. Now, let me give you another example. Now, one day you guys are going to be going out and having discussions with event organizers, and it could be for paid speaking opportunities, corporate opportunities. Last month, I was in conversation with an organization for a paid keynote speaking opportunity that we're going to be doing later this year. Before we signed the contract, I had a couple of discovery calls with them. The purpose of these calls isn't to tell them how great my keynote is. The purpose was to understand their audience, what challenges they're facing, what conversations they're having, what their attendees need most right now. Now, I have a keynote that I deliver regularly. I'm not going to start from scratch. 80% of it's going to stay the same, the same core message and stories and frameworks, but there's that 20%. That's where the magic happens. That's where I'm going to customize it to them, to their industry. I'm going to speak to their challenges. That 20% is where I'm going to make sure that I am aligned with what they need. Now, the event organizer knows that I'm going to do that because I spent the time with them in the discovery call, getting the right information from them, making sure they understood that when I come there as a speaker, I'm making sure that everything that I do is for them and for their audience. So a mindset shift that you got to think about is that as a speaker, you're not actually the product. Now, unless you're a celebrity or a major public figure, the organizer, the event organizer is bringing you in, not because of who you are, but because what your presentation can do for that audience. They're buying an outcome or a solution or a transformation. So my job isn't to deliver my favorite presentation. It's to deliver the outcome that they hired me to create. So before you apply to speak anywhere, whether it's a conference that you're speaking for free and you're submitting an application, or you are in a conversation with someone for a paid speaking opportunity, ask yourself and do your research to find out who's the audience. What are the challenges that they're facing? What outcome do they want, the audience and the organizer? And when you put together your documents, whether it is your one sheet and you can tweak and personalize it, which is why I love that you're going to get one that you get the original for, so you can tweak it when you need it. So when you submit your proposals and your description, you can make sure it aligns. And before you walk on that stage, you got to know, what does this audience need right now? What are they facing? How can I best serve them? Because your goal is to be the best speaker for that audience. Second question, are you a safe bet? So this one also has very little to do with your speaking ability. Very little to do with that. It has everything to do with trust. Can I rely on you? Can I count on you? Will you do what you said you would do? And I've worked with speakers who were exceptionally talented, amazing on stage, but really difficult to communicate with during the planning process. They miss deadlines, their emails, they don't answer them. Simple decisions take so much longer because they're not responding. In every case, it's not the speaker's expertise, it's the reliability. And I'm happy to work with speakers. In fact, tomorrow morning, I'm working with the speaker at 6 a.m. because the speaker is in a different time zone completely. That's a part of being an organizer. But what becomes difficult is when the organizer is working harder than the speaker. And in some cases, I've had to make the decision not to move forward with the speaker or not invite them back again for future events. Even though their presentation was amazing, it was just too difficult to work with them. So remember that your professionalism and what they're going to remember about you, it begins before the stage. That first email, that first deadline, the first request. And I've seen excellent speakers not get invited back because reliability became a bigger issue than their talent. I'm going to give you a different example of how you can demonstrate that you're reliable. So a couple of years ago, I was speaking at an event where the organizer was having tech issues. The laptop wasn't cooperating, and it was the same laptop that I was going to use as well, by the way. But you can see her stress level starting to rise. There's a room full of people waiting. Now, I'm pretty good at tech, but I'm not a tech expert. I stepped in and I tried to help her. Now, I couldn't actually help her figure it out, but she remembered that I stepped in to try to help because we are all on the same team. The goal wasn't just my presentation and my talk and me getting leads at the end. The goal was, is this event going to be amazing for every person in the audience? So look for ways to help, look for ways to serve, look for ways to make the organizer's job easier. And it may not be tech. It may be staying flexible when schedules change or answering questions and treating every member of the event with respect because the organizers notice, the AV team notices, the volunteers notice, the registration desk notices, everyone notices, and they will talk. So when you're arriving at an event, at a venue, make sure that you're not creating anything unnecessary, that it's just easier to work with you than any other speaker. Because things happen, right? Tech fails, schedules shift, rooms change. The speakers who get invited back are the ones who are calm, professional, and solutions focused. The organizer should feel like partnering with you was an asset. Maybe they're going to ask you to come back next year and be part of the team. So ask yourself this. Are you responsive? Do you meet your deadlines? Do you show up prepared? Do you make the organizer's life easier? If I were the organizer, would I enjoy working with me? Because the speakers who get invited back are the ones who are the easiest to work with. Now coming to the third question. Will you make me look good? This is the one that comes down to what you do on stage. Now, I believe that speaking is leadership. The moment someone hands you a microphone, they are handing you influence. Whether it's 10 people, 10,000 people, people are choosing to spend their time listening to you. And that influence comes with responsibility. The responsibility to serve, create value, create a good and meaningful experience for every member of the audience and for the organizer. When they're selecting a speaker, they're attaching their reputation to that decision. They are trusting you with an audience that they worked hard to build with their sponsors, with their event, their attendees. So what does it mean to make an organizer look good? Deliver value, engage the audience, create an experience that people will remember. At the end of the event, they're not asking, did you have impressive credentials, 50,000 followers, a best-selling book? No, they're asking, did the attendees get value? Were they engaged? Would they come back to this event? Would they recommend you? Remember, you're not just delivering information, you're creating an experience that people remember. And it's not, if you think back to the different presentations you might have attended, it's not the stats or the slides. It's the stories, it's the moments, it's the experiences, maybe the little bits of engagement that you had during the talk with other people in the event. That is what you remember. So you remember how the speaker made you feel. The best presentations include more content, less content, more engagement, more interaction. So think about that as you're designing it. The goal isn't simply for them to understand your message today, but it's for them to remember it tomorrow and next year. They're still talking about you a year from now. That's what the organizers want. They want them to say, remember that speaker? They were amazing. Those are the speakers who are going to make the event memorable. They're going to make the organizer look good. Now, here's a practical tip. If you use a platform like Talkadot or something like that to collect audience feedback, don't keep the information to yourself. Share it with the event organizer. Send them the attendee comments. Send them your session ratings. Send them the testimonials. Because the organizer often, especially if it's part of like a corporation, they need to report the outcomes to their leadership, their boards. And when you give them the feedback, you're helping them demonstrate the value of the event. You're making them look good. You're also reminding them in the process of the value that you created, helping you for the next time that you're trying to speak with them. At the end of the day, the organizer is looking for a speaker that's going to help their audience. So every decision you make, think about that. How am I going to serve the audience? Because when you serve the audience well, you're going to make the organizer look good. And when you make the organizer look good, opportunities have a way.
Something happened there and it muted you. I don't know what happened, but. Oh, now we still can't hear you. I wonder if you had earphones. This is real life. This happens. Well, we let you play with that. I'm going to just talk a little bit. So raise your hand and tell me you're ready if you do. So a couple things that really stood out to me. Now, didn't she just deliver so much wisdom without it just being educational, right? It wasn't just like, do this, then this, then this. Like, she's memorable, but she also told you through her stories, what are the things that as an event producer, as a no-go, right? So I always like to think about as speakers as three parts, at least three parts, but let's use the number 3 is you are a speaker. You're here to share. But also as a speaker, you are a fellow speaker. You're a team. You're part of the team that's going to deliver this. You can't try to outshine somebody else. You're there to help make the organization and the event look good. And then the other part that you are is think about it from the lens of a producer. If you were the one creating this, your own panel, what would you want? Dr. Thomas, I hear you're back.
Okay, good. I figured it out. So what just happened there? My sound went out. And what did Debbie do as the event organizer? She jumped right in and she smoothed that over. So I think that fits in. If I have an event and something happens, I know I can rely on Debbie. Maybe she might even come up and MC for me for a little bit, right? Those are some little skills, if you can develop, can make a big difference. So I talked about right fit, safe bet, make me look good. And she just made me look good. Now she's the event organizer. It should be the other way around. Those three matter. But here's a difference I want you to know. There's a nuance here. The initial booking and the second booking. See, when you're speaking for the first time, they've never heard you speak, that will you make me look good? That plays a bigger role than you think, right? Because I'm taking a risk. I haven't seen you speak. I don't know how the audience will respond. That's when they're going to look at clues. Your website, your one sheet. Do you have video? Do you have a speaker reel? Do you engage people? Do you have testimonials? They're constantly managing risk, and they're going to look at those things to see. That's the evidence you want to make sure that you are able to supply. And that's one of the things, one of the gifts that you got today, some of that evidence. The more evidence you can provide, the less risky you become. So what I'm going to look for, if I'm an event organizer, I'm going to look at your website, I'm going to look at your LinkedIn, I'm going to see if you have those assets, or am I going to have to guess? But once you've spoken for me and you've proven that you can deliver, now safe bet becomes more important. Because if I have 2 speakers who are amazing on stage, but only one I can rely on, guess who I'm going to pick? The one I can rely on. So that first booking is earned on potential. Your repeat bookings are earned on trust. Make sense? All right, so just to wrap up here, remember, as a speaker, you want to try to check all those boxes. Right fit, safe bet, make me look good. The next time you submit your application, make sure you're checking that off. And when you can confidently answer that, you become the kind of speaker that people remember, recommend, and invite back. And I'd like to invite all of you here to consider applying to the Stronger Together Summit. I'm going to take Debbie's referral because she and I now have trust. If you guys apply, I would love to see you on one of my stages as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Thomas. I absolutely loved everything about it, but I'm going to turn it over right here to Lani and Sofie. Let's take the next 5-6 minutes to ask questions or to give feedback, clarification. What is it that you have her here? What would you love to know more? Lani, why don't you go first?
Ooh, that was so good. Like, whoo, that was talk about value. Yes. And really kind of gave me a framework for next steps in how to take what I have gained here through the accelerator to really honor the commitment that I made to myself to do this, to put myself out to the community, not just the community, but worldwide. Like that's when we talked about in the Leadership Momentum Accelerator, building my sailing vessel to take me around the world. Yes, please. And so now you've given me some tools, some sailing tools, the sort of the steersman of how to do that and where to go. So thank you so much, Dr. Anna. And I look forward to applying to the Stronger Together Summit.
Love to have you there.
Thanks.
Sofie, would you like to share?
Yeah, well, I totally agree with what Lani said, and she kind of used a really nice word as a framework that we just received, and yeah, it was such a clear framework as Lani called it, and that's exactly kind of, I guess, what I definitely needed, a structure to know, and also I think for me it made me actually excited to kind of, well, apply for summits, because I feel I have a bit of the road that it has been cleared, or the path that's been cleared. So thank you for that. It was really amazing. And yeah, well, I also would like to take on the challenge then and apply for your summit.
I love it. I want to hand us over to Jenny, because one of the things that we haven't talked about is Jenny has actually been producing events for years, really big events. She's the magician behind, that's that integrator that's talking to the speakers, but also talking to the film producers and the other things. So Jenny, from your perspective, because I could see your smile and nodding as Dr. Anna was sharing some of this, I'd love to hear what stood out to you.
Well, yeah, Dr. Anna, thank you first and foremost for being here and for amplifying this stage as well with your presence and for sharing all your wisdom. So I appreciate that. I'm glad now we've finally, kind of met and connected, because Debbie has spoken about you so highly, for so long. And I'm like, yes, I'm on board with whatever it is that she's doing and she can do for the team. But yes, Debbie, thank you. I have been where you were at, Dr. Anna, helping produce these events and being behind the scenes. And I'm actually the person that likes to stay behind the scenes. It's only because of Debbie that I'm front facing at this point. But yeah, what stood out to me was when you talked about the you were right fit, because we always look at their brands on their own. Each speaker is a brand on their own. The event is a brand, and the person and the person that's putting on the event is another brand on their own. So is it a win-win-win? And I use the win-win-win as Debbie's language as well, where everybody in the audience gets the a memorable experience. The speakers also have a memorable experience. The event organizers have a memorable experience. And I love what you said about you get invited back because of the trust and the reliability. So that one, I was like, yes, that's exactly it. Where when you start to produce these events over and over again, and you go, okay, who can we come back or rely on, and who do they know? That also instantly brings in the referrals. So that to me was like golden. Most of what you said was golden, but that one was was top of mind.
So Dr. Anna, I'll just give you the last final words for the group here, but also for those that are watching on replay, because I think that that's the reason that we decided to live stream this instead of keep it just internal, that there is so much lived wisdom and knowledge and wealth of experience here that we want more people to see it. We want more people to have that ability to shine their own unique light. And I would love for you to just to shine your light right now.
I want to completely echo that sentiment, Debbie, because all of us, we have our own individual stories, our own individual journeys, that if we only have the courage to step up, pick up that mic and share it with the world, you have no idea how many people you can impact. For each of you, with your individual gifts and talents and the expertise that you're bringing through your programs, you have no idea. There are people who are waiting to hear from you. They are waiting for Lani. They're waiting for Sofie. They're waiting for Debbie and Jenny. And the only way that they will hear from you is when you take that mic. So I want to encourage you and invite you, even if it's the first time speaking on a stage, do not feel nervous. Take that first step. Take that first step. You will only get better and stronger every time. And that's why it's called Stronger Together Summits, the summits that I run, because together our voices are stronger and the world can be stronger because of it. So thank you again so much for this opportunity to be here with you guys today. And congratulations on graduating this amazing program.
Thank you so much, Dr. Anna. You can see, and Jenny, thank you for saying that, that I do speak highly of her. And this is why we have decided that we can do this together. Not just me speaking on our stages, but there is more happening. And this is the type of relationships that I am focusing on and how we can make this a win-win-win. So thank you, Dr. Anna. I will take you down from stage, and then I'm going to bring up our next guest, which is also super exciting. So you guys just heard that I met Dr. Anna through the Los Angeles Tribune Women's Journal. Well, part of being part of the Los Angeles Tribune Women's Journal, which Karen Ray is the director there, or sorry, Karen Hall, I apologize for that. I have two Karens that I collaborate with. Part of that is the bigger picture, the people that are at the Los Angeles Tribune in general. And there's many different things in which they do. But I had the opportunity with Nicole Cowley, I believe that she is actually here with us watching live, but we got to go down to Los Angeles and be part of a Jane Goodall. Now, anybody that knows Jane Goodall understands that not only is she like amazing, but she's also was older and maybe time of seeing her in person was running out. So I was like, I am going there. That is an in-person event that I want to be a part of. And guess who was there with us? Julianne Meyer. And so I got to meet her in person and feel that she is as genuine as what she shows up on screen. And that matters to me. I don't know about you, but when you meet somebody and you look at them and go, wow, absolutely amazing. Is this actually true? Is it all true? This is also why Jenny and I really want to make sure that your branding and your voice is congruent so people can absolutely know that it's true. And so I'm going to bring Julianne Meyer up to the stage. Now she's representing years of experience as an event producer and more. We'll let her introduce that. But she has also become the VP of broadcasting and production for the Los Angeles Tribune. That is a big stage, a big commitment, a big honor to have. And she's here today to tell us what's she looking for when she's looking for thought leaders or speakers, or even somebody to stand beside her and help her. So let me bring her to the stage. And Julianne, thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you for inviting me, Debbie. It's such an honor to be here today and with all these beautiful women and celebrating everything that has happened and everything that is yet to come.
Absolutely. Well, I'm just going to hand it over to you. Please go ahead and introduce yourself, brag on yourself all you want, because I cannot believe how blessed I am to not only know you and call you a friend, but also to have helped support some of the events. I've been the person that got called in at the last minute to help run a panel or do things. And I know that you have a lot of behind the scenes wisdom that you would love to share with us. So I'm handing it over to you.
Well, thank you, Debbie. So, who am I? How am I qualified to speak about this? Debbie's mentioned that I've been in the media game for quite some time now. I'm actually the co-CEO of E360 TV, which is a streaming television platform, as well as the vice president, as Debbie mentioned, of the Los Angeles Tribune. My divisions are broadcasting and publishing. So I get to do everything from on-screen, virtually, in person, books, TV, you name it. I have my finger in pretty much everything. So I've had my own shows. I've been a speaker. I have literally done everything you can imagine from the front to the back. I know what works, what does not work, and what I am personally looking for. I mean, even movies. I'm working in movies now as well. So I've done a lot of things, but you know, I've spent so many years on stage and years deciding who gets to be on them. And a lot of that is not necessarily what you think. Yes, you do need to have a good message. Absolutely. That is number one. But the thing that people don't think about is, what is your agenda? Is the purpose for you to shine, or is the purpose to feed the audience? So ultimately, impact should be number one in my eyes. If you're there to prove yourself and prove your worth and grow your business, that's not the kind of person that I'm trying to put on stage. What I am trying to do is create an experience for whoever the audience is. And in order to do that, yes, I do want to support you and get your mission and help you create more business and do all of those things. But my first priority is the people who are tuning in, are showing up, and who is going to keep the needle moving forward. So I just finished producing the beginning of May, Leadership Week for the Los Angeles Tribune. We had over 300 speakers. 300 speakers. I mean, we've never done anything that large ever. And when I say week, I mean 10 days because it turned into week. But here's the thing, when it comes to that, like, there has to be flexibility, not only with the speakers, but with the people who are producing, the people who are behind the scenes. Debbie was a big part of that. And, you know, here's one of the reasons I would choose, let's say Debbie, for example. She helps me solve problems. There are going to be problems. I might not be able to get to your graphics. I have over 300 speakers and only X amount of time in the day with X amount of graphic designers able to do that. So when you're coming to me as a speaker saying, where's my graphic? Where's my graphic? All panicky. My thought is, I really hope you understand that I want this event to be a success just as much as you do. How can you help me? Let's help you help me. So there's other ways to promote events, because these are things like, I'm number one looking for, like I said, are you helping me solve problems, or are you creating them for me? And it's not all on you, but I work in a way that's collaborative. This is an event that we are creating. This is an experience. You are literally exchanging your life for this. So let's make it worth it. I don't want to get to the end of my life and think, oh my gosh, I didn't give my all for this event. I made it about me. And I still don't make it about me, even if I am a speaker. I showed up for everybody here that maybe needs to hear something new and different. One of the things that I was thinking about when I was listening to Dr. Thomas was, I feel exactly the same way. What am I going to talk about? Oh my goodness, do I need to change everything I just said? Absolutely not. It's like saying, oh my goodness, I can't start a coffee shop because there's a Starbucks. Everybody wants what they want, and they'll hear the message differently depending on who the person is and how you relate that story. Because ultimately, it does come back down to the story. No matter what, it's going to be the story. I had the honor and privilege of being part of the filming for Pillars of Power, which is a movie that the Los Angeles Tribune has actually just premiered. So we were at Jack Canfield's house filming him. And for those of you who don't know him, he's part of The Secret. He is Chicken Soup for the Soul. So he's been around the block a few times. He knows what he's talking about. And one of the things that he said off the cuff that really stuck with me was, nobody's looking for a sage on the stage. And that made it so much, it resonated with me. That's a better way to put it. It resonated with me because I'm not looking for perfection. I'm looking for real. Because if I can't relate to you, other people can't either. Yes, I do want you to have a polished message. No, I don't want to know that you memorized it. I'm not interested in hearing something verbatim. You're not an actor. You're not an actress. You are a real person telling a story. And the point of what you're doing, being on stage and creating that impact, is by connecting. It's through connection. Can you connect with the audience? If you cannot connect with the audience, I cannot invite you back. And the other thing too that I really think about a lot is, let's go back to, what do I need as a producer? What do I need as a host, as a podcaster, as a TV show host, as being in charge of multiple events, whether they're in person or they're online like this? I need butts in seats, because you can write the book, but who's going to read it? So for me, it's not, if you build it, they will come. It is, I will create value for when you show up. And we want this to be an entire experience for whoever it is that's showing up. Now, I'm definitely not looking for the longest bio and the most credentials. And I could have gone on for hours about all the awards I've won and all the different things I've done, and, why I am where I am. But is that going to help you become a better speaker? And is that going to create an opportunity for you that maybe you might have missed otherwise? Yes, it is important for me to have credibility, but it's not about me. What can I solve for you? What is the problem that I'm solving? The piece of information that you don't have that you need to create value in your own life, to create an experience, to change the trajectory of where you're going with yourself. And that's really what I look for when I'm looking at speakers is, can they connect? I don't want perfect. I'm not looking for perfect. Perfect is boring. Who wants to be friends with somebody who's perfect? I can't relate to somebody who's perfect. But if somebody screws up, if somebody is real, if they can laugh about it, tell the times that they were not successful, and say, I lived to tell about it. You know what? I can relate to you. If you can do it, I can do it too. So you just changed my life, because I am not looking for somebody that is going to be up on that pedestal, the sage on the stage. I am looking for somebody who is a few steps ahead of the audience, who can add value to their lives and make it an experience. Now, here's the thing that I think this is a great way to sum up that point, is I want people to shift from, here's why I'm important, to here's how this helps you. And that is really where that impact comes in. Now, I've been in streaming television for years, and I can tell you there's a lot of people with a lot of great stories. However, I can tell almost instantly who's going to be successful and who is not going to be successful. And the real thing is, are you passionate about what you're speaking on? Not what do I get back from speaking? It is, am I passionate? Because if I am not passionate about the subject, why would anybody else be? You've got to stop trying to prove your worth. You are valuable just as you are. You have nothing to prove, nothing to prove. You have value to add. I'm kind of known in the industry as the dark horse, because I don't toot my own horn very much. And when Debbie asked me to, I thought, oh my goodness, what am I going to say? However, I show up and I do the thing, whatever the thing is. And that has made me the woman behind the scenes who makes these events as successful as they are. So What makes me invite people back? There's a lot of different things. The number one is flexibility. How flexible are you? If you're not flexible, I'm not interested. I don't care if you have the best message in the world. I don't care if you have the biggest audience. If you can't work with me and you can't play well with others, then I can't invite you back, because it's really not a place for you. You deserve to be a keynote speaker, single on a stage, maybe like a TEDx or something like that, because all stages are not created equal. They all have a different system. They all have a different way you show up. And for me, I mean, I've done in person, I've done streaming, you name it. I've done television, I've done movies, I've done books, I've done all the different ways that you show up, and they all require something slightly different. When I have somebody on a stage and they're on a panel, when I say 30 seconds, I mean 30 seconds. Don't go into a minute and a half explanation. I asked you to say in 30 seconds or less what your point is. If you can't follow those directions, I can't invite you back. Because especially if it's a panel, because it's about the chemistry of the whole panel. It's not just about what am I going to share. And a huge thing that speakers tend to forget is that this is just the beginning of the conversation. You're not trying to teach every single thing that you know in that short amount of time that you have on stage. You're only going to be making 1, maybe 2 or 3 points, depending on how long you have and what is expected of you. Because if you go into proving, and that's what it turns into, like you get excited about what you know and you want to prove how much you know and you want to share everything that you know. No, this is a conversation. You're just opening the door, because we're all speaking for a purpose. And if you're not sure what that purpose is, you need to become clear. And what I mean by purpose is, what's your back end look like? How are you going to handle the influx of people that are coming to you now? Do you have a coaching program? Do you have something that you're going to do with them? Don't leave them hanging. And that's really important to me as well, because if you make this wonderful point and you just change somebody's life and then you leave them hanging, then what? If you can't serve them, then you need to point them in another direction where they can be served continuing on. And there's nothing wrong with that. You can't be all things to all people. But how are you going to help the people after you've spoken with them, after you've shared your story? And so that's really one of the things that I think about is, are you creating value? Is it value not only for the audience, but for me as a producer, for your panel, for whoever else is speaking at an event? There's something that drives me absolutely bananas, and that is when a speaker will show up solely for their time slot and bounce right after. You are not there for the event. You are there for you. And I can guarantee you, it does not matter how wonderful your message is. It will not resonate the same way with the audience, because they see that, they know it, they recognize it. You just made it about you instead of what's in it for them. And when you show up and you support your fellow speakers, whether it's on an online summit, whether it's an in-person event, whether it's a podcast, a TV show, whatever, if you can support and do your homework, then I am going to say, oh, you actually do care about the event. It's not what's in it for you. It's how can I add value for this? Because the event, whatever that is, whether it's speaking on stage, all the ways we've already mentioned a million times. If that is not your ultimate goal, I'm not interested in what you have to say, because you just made it about you. It's never going to land the way that you intend it to. And that's where that passion comes in as well, that I've been talking about. That's what I mean. What's in it for them? Now, does that mean that you forget about you and ROI? No, absolutely not. But your goal has to be impact. Your goal has to be, let me leave this space, leaving the audience in a better place. If you're not doing that, then what's the point? Then it's a vanity project. And we're not here out of vain. We're here to change the world. You women are not here because you're trying to toot your own horn. You're here to help make it better for other people. That's why you're here. And you do deserve to have something in return because, as I mentioned before, you are literally exchanging your life for this. Now, how does that look? Now, I want you to keep in mind that the thing that you get in return doesn't always look the way that you expect it to. And I want you to keep your eyes wide open. The fact that I'm sitting here, it all started because I was working in the health and wellness industry. And I had to pivot because of COVID. And I ended up doing an online summit. And then it turned into a TV show. And then it turned into red carpets. And then it turned into becoming a CEO, turning into becoming a VP, turning into me emceeing LA Fashion Week. I mean, interviewing Her Majesty the Queen Diambi of the Congo. I mean, how many people here can say that they have interviewed royalty, actual literal royalty? Those opportunities came because I was very clear that impact was my number one thing. And I was very clear that I would keep my eyes wide open for the opportunities that came my way, even if it wasn't cash. Because sometimes what you get in return is better than money. You can always make money, but don't miss out on the opportunity because you're not getting paid the way you think you're going to be paid. And I think that is really important, especially if you're making this your goal is to be a professional speaker. You definitely have to think about, one, media is never free. How are you going to invest in yourself? And that's one of the things that I didn't understand. I didn't understand when I first got into this world of media and speaking and all of it. It's not free. It's costing somebody something somewhere, whether it's time, money, energy, it is costing. And I always thought, well, when I make it, then I can, why are you asking me to pay for this? And then I realized, oh my goodness, Ryan Gosling probably pays $50,000 a month to his publicist in order for good press and the opportunity to speak about whatever it is he wants to speak about. That's $50,000 a month. And I can't invest $100 on myself. So be strategic about that, but just realize that it is not free. So maybe you're not paying to be on a stage, and maybe that's not the path that's right for you. And that's fine. But are you showing up? Are you volunteering? How are you giving your time? Are you giving more than is expected of you? Can you adapt? Can you stay on message? Are you being respectful of not only the producer, but also the other people in the events? Are you making life easier instead of harder? That's something that I'm always looking for. Like, it's very interesting to me how people who are very well seasoned, who charge, I don't know, $50,000 to $100,000 to show up and speak on stages, will come to an event that I'm producing, speak for free, and be less of a hassle for me than somebody who's maybe just starting out. And the reason why I'm saying that is because it's not what you think it is. I need people who are going to do more than is expected of them, show up in ways like going back to the graphics things, because that seems to be a huge issue a lot of the time. 1, can I create a graphic for myself? 2, can I do a live? 3, can I brag about it anyway? How else can I do this while the back end is working on what they need to work on? Because I guarantee you, they want the event to be just as, if not more successful than you do. And they're making it about the whole thing. So when you can play and be a team player and you can help out, maybe that is what you're paying to be a part of the event, is being the team player. I'm not saying it has to be cash. I'm just saying that it has to, you have to give and take. So that's what I'm looking for. Most of all is, how's this going to work? So the other thing too, that I really wanted to stress about is, like, leave the ego at the door. Leave the ego at the door, 100%. Nothing is below me. I've been doing these events, and if I were to say, well, don't you know who I've interviewed? Don't you know what I've done? You know what I've done? I've also put together certificates at 3:00 in the morning because there was nobody else to do it. I've gone out and picked up trash in front of the venue because there was nobody else there to do it. I have stayed late and put tables away, even though it was not my job, because I'm there for the event. There's nothing beneath me. If I can help out, I am going to help out. So if you can leave your ego at the door and realize that nobody owes us a microphone, nobody does. It's an honor and a privilege. And what am I going to do with that honor and privilege? I'm watching to see how you're doing that. Because if you can't follow the directions, if you can't honor the time, if you can't stay on topic, if you can't follow the simplest of directions, show up 10 minutes early, check your tech, do all these little details. If I have to remind you, or if I have to pull you off because of something, then I'm not inviting you back. Now, speaking like with Dr. Thomas as well, I don't know exactly what happened and how, like, she just, there was a tech issue. Let's just say there's always a tech issue. Let me tell you, there is always a tech issue. So how can you adapt? What if your slides don't work? You better be able to connect with your audience. What if you get there and you realize what you have planned doesn't fit the vibe anymore? You've read the audience. Can you on the fly pick something new and talk about it with passion and love and leave value? And here's the thing that I think is really important too, that speakers don't really understand and they don't really seem to get is, and it took me a long time to figure this out, is I have planned speeches like nobody's business. I have dropped truth bombs and nuggets of gold and done all this. And when people come up to me afterward, it's never what I planned on saying that it's always something that came from my heart at the last minute that just suited the audience. So leave room for the magic, because that's really where it is. And if you do make a mistake, laugh, admit it. Because if you can keep the audience, if you don't make them feel sorry for you. And if you screw up, you screw up. If you don't make the audience feel sorry for you, I'm inviting you back. That's not what did you do? Did you get yourself back up? That's what I care about as somebody who's producing. I'm not looking for perfection. As I said, perfection is boring. So for me, it really does turn into, number one, what value are you adding? And how easy are you making everyone's life? Can you play well with others? Because if you can't play well with others, I can't work with you. There's a lot of people out there that are really fantastic, but they just miss the little details. And the other thing that I want you to think about too is the marketing aspect of this. I wish I'd known sooner how important the marketing aspect is. If you're going to an event, you better invite people to come. If you are, media is never free. Visibility does require investment. So how are you investing your time? Are you promoting the event? Are you showing up? Like Debbie would show up. Look she's got comments right there. She's showing up even at her own event in ways that are hard to do, because when you are in charge of the event and you're trying to do all the stuff on the back end, and then you're on the screen, and even when you're not on the screen, you're working the event. That's what other people should be doing as well. Like, I always like to stay a little bit before, if I can, the entire day for an online event. Or, how much can I add value? Because I'm not here just for me. I'm here for everyone. So I just want to say, it really does matter how you show up, not only in how you speak, but as a human being. And do you play well with others? Because it really is a community. You want to build everyone up. If you shine, everybody else shines. If you help others shine, you shine more. It doesn't take away from you by elevating someone else. It shows that you are confident in what you know, and you're smart enough to see the value in somebody else. That elevates your street cred 100%. It really does. But ultimately, the other thing too that I think is really important is that not every good opportunity is good for you. So you really do need to know, is this going to align ultimately with my goals? I've had a lot of opportunities that I've said no to because they just, even though we're fantastic and we're talking like famous people and it would have been really cool, but it was more of a vanity thing than versus adding value. So I want you to think about like what's in it for you as well, because if you're not in it for the right reasons, then it will limit your speaking opportunities ultimately, because it's about the energy behind it and how you're showing up as a whole human being. Because it's not just about what you're saying, it's about who you're being. And I think that people sometimes miss that piece, is that it's really important who you're being and how you show up. I'm the same person on stage as I am behind the scenes, period. I might speak a little bit more freely, but that's the thing. Not everybody gets to hear every piece of my story. And that's something for you to remember as well. Not everybody earns the right to hear every single thing, and you have to be healed before you share. So anyway, I hope that helps, but there's so many different pieces, and I'm just backing up what Debbie said, what Dr. Thomas said, what you ladies have said. It really is a holistic approach to how you're showing up and being versus just what you're saying.
Wow. Thank you so much. So many mic drop moments, and I want to capture those. So one of the things that we always do as part of the Women's Journal for the Los Angeles Tribune is we capture those golden nuggets. And so it is something that is part of me. My fingers, if somebody cut my fingers off, I'd be like, I need to type that. So I want you guys to share what was the thing that landed for you. Because what Julianne said is Dr. Thomas said it before me, and maybe somebody who's going to say it right after me, but they say it differently, in a different tone, in a different mannerism, in a different characteristics. So what landed for you? Lani, I'd love you to go first.
There we go. Wow. Yeah. Golden nuggets for sure. Mic drop moments. Thank you, Julianne. This was incredible. I think one of the things was that all stages are not created equal. And really not every good opportunity is good for me. Those were two really powerful ones for me. I don't know why. That's, as Debbie said, this is just me, authentic me. When it hits me hard, it creates emotion. So those were really strong for me. The other thing was just with you and Dr. Thomas was all about the flexibility and being able to stay on message, and be authentic, but be flexible with that part, but also be flexible with the event coordinators and the audience, so that everybody's the win-win-win that Debbie always talks about, that everybody's benefiting from the experience. So flexibility for sure is another one. And then I love the quote from Jack Canfield that nobody's looking for a sage on the stage. Like I've heard those people speak, and it's like, okay, when is lunch? Can I sneak out to use the restroom? So definitely, as much as we think we have or know that we have value, leaving the ego at the door, your value is going to come through if you don't, sit up there like you are the only person that has anything to share. So thank you again, Julianne, and I hope to work with you in the future.
Thank you.
I love that those were the things that come out for sure. Sofie, what about you? What was something that stood out?
Yeah, for me, well, first of all, thank you as well. It was like everyone has said already, like golden nuggets and mic drops, like just one by one coming in. So it was amazing. I think I will keep remembering is that, how did you say it again? Leave room for the magic. I love a bit of magic, so yes, that and then, well, in terms of like speaking of rooms and so on, keep the ego at the door. That is what I found also a very good one. And then, but also really kind of caught my attention when you spoke about keep your eyes open for opportunities and so on, because, Debbie and Jenny asked us to reflect, and actually what I wrote down as last thing was that, yeah, my intuition will guide me along the way as long as I keep my heart and my eyes open for it. And so, yeah, that felt very kind of, or that resonated a lot. So thank you.
I really appreciate that, Sofie. As much as I'm a businesswoman, I'm an energetic being, and I've got to like leave room for that magic. And I go by my gut intuition. You can talk to me about all these things, but I need to feel it from you. And I feel it from both of you. So thank you so much for saying these kinds of words, because it means a lot to me. That's the whole point. I want Lani to have emotion. That means it resonated. That is the whole point of why we're doing this. So thank you so much.
I love it. Thank you. I love how this is unfolding. And it was also very much just guided and being flexible, and let's just go for it and see how it all plans out. So Jenny, I would love to hear from you what stood out from two different perspectives. As the Leadership Momentum Accelerator co-founder, we teach this, and it's being said from a different authority and a different voice in a different way. So I'd love to hear what stood out to you the most there. And then from your perspective of opportunities that could possibly be coming to you, because as you said, you didn't love the stage, but you're learning and you're really doing great with it. So go first with as the co-founder.
Well, thank you, Debbie, and thank you, Julianne, for being with us as well. I was at the Jane Goodall event. When I saw Debbie there, I didn't catch you there, but I've heard so many good things about you, and just being in Debbie's world automatically opens up these doors, right? And I believe I shared it, Debbie, and I, in my mind, as you brought Dr. Anna and Julianne up, I kept thinking, oh, we practice this. That was what we do inside Leadership Momentum Accelerator. We build that. How do you know that this opportunity isn't good for you? It's that guidance and that discernment that you build in through the weeks of clarity and refinement. How do you be a good team player, right? We talk about that. And then how do you share the stage, and how do you edify and amplify yourself and others? Those are things that we work on. So it feels so validating to know that these are things that experts see and look for, and producers as well, right? We take that how are you a team player? We talk about collaborative leadership, and then how does your brand play into all of that? Because it should be a win-win-win, right? And that's you knowing your brand, you understanding what the audience needs. How do you create that magical experience? So all of that was just like playing in my head, and pieces of the puzzle coming together, because that's what we're all trying to do all the time. The pieces of the puzzle of this experience, this event, how does this piece fit in my bigger journey? So that was all coming together. So I'm grateful for this experience. And your second question, Debbie, do you want to say it again?
I shouldn't have asked you two together. Definitely a bad host decision. But no, the second question was you, Jenny. What mic drop moments did you hear that landed for Jenny, the person that also has a brand and also has a stage and also has an audience?
Yeah, I don't think it was any different from what Lani and Sofie and Julie and Dr. Anna and you have shared as well. It is practice, it is progress, being there, being authentic, being able to come up and share your message, and be able to just show up and go with the flow and be a team player. Those all landed for me. And I love that we do all of that as well, because I know there are some things, part of me up until now, where I'm not good at. And so coming up and just going, okay, I'm going to show up and do this here, and then allow the other people to help and make it a more memorable and cohesive experience. So I think that's something that stood out for me.
Yeah, thank you so much. Me as well. I will just sprinkle in my magic, because I just think that we're all transformational leaders. When you step on a stage, you are transforming somebody's life. And if we don't leave room for the magic, if we don't read the room, if we don't feel and lift up the vibration here, we're missing out a piece of ourselves. That's really what it means to shine your own unique light. Bring all of you to the table without the ego part. We get to bring that, but from a perspective of how is this serving the audience to actually transform? And then I loved what you said. Where are you taking them next? Now, you might not have said it in that language, but would you have the systems? Do you have the back end? Do you have the follow-up to where when you just opened this conversation and stood up and shone your unique light, where are you taking them next? Is it an offer? Is it a deeper relationship? Is it a conversation? But intention of where you're investing your time and money and resources is really important. So I'm going to hand it back to you, Julianne, to just wrap it all up and just share with those that are here with us live, but also thinking about this as that evergreen piece of material. What is that one thing you really need the audience to understand and remember?
Oh, I love that question, Debbie. So I think that the number one thing that I would love to leave with everyone is that we all have nerves. We're all scared, and we all think we're not good enough. And, we hear the word imposter syndrome. Actually, it's 2 words, but you understand where I'm going with this. One is ask yourself better questions. Who am I not to show up? Who am I not to be that person? Because you showing up, you have no idea whose life you're changing. And when you don't make it about you make it about the audience and who you're serving, because you showing up is you serving, being of service to others. It's not about you anymore. So there's nothing to be nervous about. It doesn't matter if you're perfect because you're not trying to be. It's about them and showing up for them. And the other piece about that too is nobody's actually looking to see you fail. They're rooting for you. They showed up because they see the value in the experience. They're not going to be critiquing you, saying, how many times did you say, but? They are there to learn and experience and be a part of a community. And just to show up, not only for yourself, but show up for the audience, because that's really where that magic is when you don't make it about you and you make it about them, you'll be surprised at what comes back.
So well said. Thank you so much for joining us. This is just a beautiful example. Jenny had said it earlier, is us living it as we're teaching it. Real relationships matter. When I reached out to Julianne and asked her, I didn't put her on a pedestal and say, she's so far above, I can't even reach her. She is. That's my secret voice. She is. But guess what? We built a relationship and I knew she could add value here. And this is what really matters. And I hope that she asks me to come in and give her and do a favor for her, because this is the type of collaborative leadership that we're inviting everyone to step into. Building a trusted network of people that you can literally reach out and say, come help me. This is a mission that's going to take us all deeper. And getting more women on stages is definitely part of my mission. So thank you so much, Julianne.
Thank you. I appreciate everyone here, and congratulations to everyone.
Thanks. Okay. Well, we have one more surprise, and we are getting to that. Well, we are. Oh my goodness. We're an hour and a half into this. And so anybody that's still with us, thank you so much. If you've been here for pieces of it, thank you so much for you commenting and letting us know what landed. Thank you so much. But I really want to turn this back just for a few minutes before we have that last surprise. I really want to turn it back to the graduates. I want to talk about the intention of why we created this live. We could have had a graduation inside of a Zoom room, and trust me, we've had those before, and they have been amazing. But I want you to be able to shine always, not just when you're on stage, not just when you're a student, not just when you're a mentor, not just when you are sharing. but all of the time. And I think that when we get into coming in with that energy and that intention, when we're always thinking it through the lens that I am a learner and I am somebody with wisdom at the same time, that feels to me more congruent about who are we truly? Who are we really showing up as? And that congruency brings trust. It gets you on stages. It helps people feel you, resonate with you, want more of you. And so, of course, it's not done here. You guys are stepping in as mentors inside of the Shine Circle, where we have created an opportunity for you to practice your mentoring, practice your voice, practice your facilitation skills, practice what naturally comes out. So it doesn't end because you graduated. There's always that next step. But I would love to go just a little bit, and I know we're over, so please bear with me. But I want to just take people through a bit of a journey of where you were and where you are today. And Jenny, please chime in at any time, because you will remember it maybe a little differently or whatever. So I want to start with Sofie, because what I seen with Sofie is she had this vision of creating retreats in Portugal for people that were completely burnt out, almost lacking any energy or even knowing what to do. Their nervous system was overloaded and on fire, and she wanted to create retreats to help them bring them back to life after mission work, right? So I don't know if you guys know this about her, but we will share their one sheets with you so you know them a little bit better. But Sofie does humanitarian work. She's part of a missions team, but she has witnessed burnout herself. She has also watched it in others, and she has come up with a solution of how can she help bring that nervous system back? How can she help people be alive, feel alive again? So what she's seen in her vision, we just jumped on and we're like, oh, there's more to this than retreats. And so we created a pathway of offers for her that included retreats and connection and healing and community, where people gathered together, where ceremonies and connection and collaboration with other women, being on stages, creating your own stage, because it's one thing to be invited to a stage where you get to, have your part in that. But what about if you wanted to start a conversation that really mattered to you? It's that conversation that you knew that if I could get people to understand this piece of it, then I could get them ready for the next thing that I could offer them. So it became, instead of an offer, it became a pathway. And what I seen was, can I trust myself with something that big when I'm not even sure I'm succeeding with the thing I'm doing now? Wow, mindset, right? We've all been there. We've all done that. I have to have this offer absolutely nailed in before I can create a pathway or a value ladder or all pieces of me to the table. And what Jenny and I believe is that when you do that, you are missing out on magic. When you do that, you are missing out on a really big piece of who you are and what you offer and why somebody should care. Why do they relate to you, right? She not only is doing retreats in Portugal. Wow, that's enough. That's enough. But she was having trouble getting people to resonate to that offer. We needed other people to understand not only why she's doing that retreat, but who she's doing it for and what's her lived experience that makes her qualified to not only host a retreat, but stages and community and conversations. And all of these tools in the toolbox now become something that are packaged within her identity, in her brand, no longer just the retreat or the journaling or the tool is a standalone. Does that make sense to people of what the Leadership Momentum Accelerator journey is? Is it's you stepping up as a leader of a passion. The other thing, Sofie, that I recognized about you is that she was a disruptor. Like you witness her as she's this calm, beautiful soul, She does amazing humanitarian work. But in her mind, she needed to flip people's switch. She needed to disrupt their thought patterns. And she challenged Jenny and I a few times to go, okay, now we get it. But we had to have this time together to fully understand what was the thing underneath that she was really trying to say so that we could help her say it. Jenny, what about you? What did you see on this path?
Yeah, no, and I wanted to just share. I mean, Sofie came in with her own brand, Adventure Alchemy, and that automatically was something. It's like, okay, anybody can put on a retreat, anyone can put on a workshop, anyone can do this. But then, what makes it Sofie's, right? And what makes it distinct to her for the people that will resonate with her? And one of the things that we remember talking about, Sofie, was when you take them on this adventure and when you insert the fun, because little do you know, and as you get to know Sofie, she's a lot of fun. And so that was the thing of when you understand what goes in behind her retreats, it's like, oh my gosh, Debbie and I want to sign up. But that's something that we want to come out more, and that's exactly the personality that Sofie has, which only Sofie can bring to this type of retreat, and will attract those types of different people. So I think that's the one little piece there for me.
Yeah, I love that, Jenny. Thank you so much for bringing that in. Sofie, just give you a moment just to talk about that. What did that, being seen, right? Sometimes we feel like we have to explain our mission and prove ourselves. And even, is it worthy? Does anybody else believe in this, or is it just in here in me? And so what did it feel like as we started pulling this out of you?
Yeah, I think I guess I needed some time to see it myself, but well, thank you for that. I'm very grateful that you pulled it out of me. And yeah, I think that's exactly what you said, that being seen. Well, and it's if I can tell a small story, but so I just last week got invited in this, part of my retreat is surfing, and as you know, and I got invited for a surf clinic, which is just to improve your surfing. And it was just funny because so a friend of mine is doing the social media marketing for this surf clinic here very locally, and the owner asked her if he had heard of this girl setting up humanitarian retreats. And somehow I found it it's still kind of new to hear and or see myself as being that girl then. But yeah, it felt really great, and obviously I'm very grateful for the opportunity. But just about that visibility, that it's still something that I guess I'm more and more owning, but we're getting there. But so yeah.
We are celebrating you, and I can't wait to celebrate you even more in our personal chat. These are the things. It's the little moments. It's the opening the door. It's you stepping into it as a new identity, so those opportunities can actually find you. I love that your reputation, you claiming it, you showing up, then extended back to you through your friend. I love that. That is magic in the making. So good. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. So just a quick, I said just a quick, and then I heard, don't slow down. This is important. These ladies are important. So if you're with us and we have gone over, I apologize, but I'm not apologizing. These ladies need to be honored. So Lani, so I told you guys earlier that she came in with a huge amount of leadership skills and decades of teaching workshops, writing books, being the person that helped others, volunteered for communities. But she also had her own story and her own reasoning on why this stuff mattered. And I don't know if I'm supposed to say your age or not, but as somebody that could easily just sit back and retire and say, been there, done that, I'm now taking time for myself. She had this mission and this desire to do more. And she was writing her second book. And her first book was a success. Her second book, like books and standing on stages is a way for you to bring your message, but it's also a way to heal. I think that most people would recognize that. It's also part of the healing journey. So she had a desire to be seen globally, to be seen as a thought leader, for people that she had volunteered with for years to recognize the gifts and the knowledge and the wisdom and the expertise that she actually brought. So for me, what I hear in that is there is another level of leadership that you're moving into, an identity that needs to be witnessed, to be acknowledged, to be seen, to be heard, to be valued, to be respected, and then to be claimed and embodied. And that's really, I think, is a really simple way of what we help our leaders do, is be embodied. So that when they claim their spot at the table, when they claim their spot as a leader, not only internally so that it all matches and it's congruent, but on the outside, it's also showing up as that. What I have said many, many times is I've seen people with an amazing mission and message, and then everybody else is saying your message is amazing, but you don't believe it. You haven't seen the power in it. You haven't seen the movement that it can make and the ripple across the globe that can happen if we get you so that your brand and your message and mission is fully aligned, congruent, and embodied. And what we've witnessed in Lani is true embodiment. And boy, oh boy, have her people that have known her for decades showed up and paid attention to this new Lani. So Jenny, I would love to turn it over to you to see what you've witnessed.
Well, I mean, again, Lani, from the minute that you started, it was just, you were the action taker. And that's exactly what we need here inside the Leadership Momentum Accelerator. Both of you are action takers. It's like, okay, this is where I'm at. This is what I'm feeling. We're going to get the clarity, and then you take the next steps. And then you see where it goes, right? And that's exactly the action, and then the discernment after. And just owning that whole brand of Alakai and being the guide. I mean, it shows in everything that you do and everything that you say. And it was really just a small little a small little hinge that we needed to refine in terms of just the branding and the consistency. And here you are, every week you come up and you're like, I got asked for this one, I got asked for this stage, oh, this door open. And it's like, of course it's happening, of course. We're not surprised. And so it's such an honor and a privilege to be here, and to be able to share that with you, and to be a small part of your journey as well.
So beautifully said. So Lani, I would love for you just to, whatever you want to share, but help us understand the journey of you really embodying this and really believing that you are the divine messenger.
Yeah, several things in this past week, and some of the questions that you asked us to reflect on was recognizing that this is my calling. And it resonates so deeply because it's more than just a professional thing. It's a divine calling, and I feel most aligned in those moments of genuine connection, and that when I can witness, we've talked about whether you're on stage or virtual or whatever, but that when I can witness the connection with one person or a whole audience, that there's a spark of hope or possibility or personal discovery, that fulfills my mission and my purpose. And what this whole process has helped me really clarify that, but also discernment has been really a big part of that, to trust my intuition, listen more deeply to that inner wisdom, and give myself the grace to move through things thoughtfully, that there's not a rush, that even though, you know, we have a lifespan time limit, I don't know when that is, but I don't have to rush thinking that the end is tomorrow. So really understanding that, using my discernment to guide my decisions, to do what's right and not what's expected, to really trust that within me, and that it has allowed me to really become much more aligned, with so much more clarity and confidence and courage. And I really, you know, I've always said that helping one person might not save the world, but it could change the world for that one person. And definitely impacting one person at a time, but having so much more opportunities to have that influence and that impact. And that for me, from where I am in my life journey, having the perspective to impact other generations is really feeling like the legacy that I can leave.
Wow. And so before we play the last video, I want to just speak on my behalf and Jenny's, and Jenny, feel free to chime in here. But this is us being proud mama bears, right? When somebody comes to us with this message, it is an application process to join our Leadership Momentum Accelerator, because it is an accelerator. It's not for everyone. But if you're ready to do the work and you have this message and we start talking about your lived experience, we're like, oh yeah, let us help you. And so when we witness the success and the BS stories and the step back and the pull forward and the embodiment, and we see all of it, we're like mama bears that are just like helping you rise. And it feels so good to get to what we call graduation day, because it's really important for us to look back at where we were and how far we've come. But it's only the beginning. It's only the beginning. These are both mentors inside of the Shine Circle. So come on in and watch them shine inside of the Shine Circle. If you want to know more about that, reach out to one of us. But what's the other part? As they continue to evolve, they need to stay in community, because our mind can trick us and go back to what if this is too big? What if I'm too confused? And we go back into that overwhelm, frustration, pause. And so as a mama bear, you don't just kick the cubs out, you always watch. And that's really what we're doing here. Is we are so proud of these women and we want the best for them. We want to witness the ripple effect that they're creating. And we also want to be here to hold them when they feel like it's too much. And so Jenny, just as your graduation message to them, I would love for you to just say that, and then we'll do the video.
I am so honored and privileged to be here and to be with you both, and of course with Debbie. The fact that we've done this several times already and we keep going, I think, is a testament to knowing that there is, you know, again, as Lani, you said, impacting one, maybe two people, and you are both impacting a larger audience. That's the ripple effect. We talk about the ripple. And so the message for right now is just to keep taking action, keep taking the steps, because you'll never know what we don't know. So that's and taking the steps gives us more clarity always. And with that, I think you have the video, Debbie. So congratulations.
So this last video is somebody that, I'm going to just say this in the most beautiful way. This is an impact maker. This is somebody that is creating events. So their company is called Global Speakers Talk. And her whole philosophy was to help people get on stages. Let's get these stages created. She's creating virtual experiences and stages. And we can do that. We've done it. We can do it in one-offs. We can do it in summits. We can do it in conferences. We can do it in 3 or 4 day. But what I got invited into, and it talks about the trust relationship and what happens, because I get invited every day. Like, guys, I'm not bragging, but there's sometimes discernment is one of the biggest tools that you get to use, because I get invited every day to speak on a stage. And there's some that I ignore on purpose. There's some that I watch and witness, and is there consistency and trust, and is there going to be value there both ways? Is it a win-win? All the things we've talked about earlier. But about a month ago, I got invited to speak at the Global Speakers Talk, and she was very clear on how this is done. This is TEDx style talking, but virtual. This is you coming in and learning to how to grab the attention and speak a block of your wisdom. And then at the end to loop it back around and to do a summary. And because TEDx is on my thought process, again, you guys know my story. You know that I never wanted to speak on a stage, let alone a TEDx, and it's sneaking in little by little. So I'm growing as you're growing. I said, why not? I'll try this out. And I'm always saying that any opportunity that comes to me comes through me. I believe that's what I'm here for. I believe that that's why I've been put in these positions. And so why not? I'll try it out and see if it's going to work for our Leadership Momentum Accelerator students. We're always creating stages. Well, the experience has been phenomenal because the back end has been phenomenal. If you guys have seen me advertising that on this Saturday, I'm speaking at a summit, and so they started out with a 15-minute talk, basically testing you out. And then they put you in a summit if that is something that you are ready for. So this video is from, I want to say her name right. It's Anshu Tiwari. I hope that I'm saying it right. I should have given it to Jenny. She would have had the accent better. And so Global Speakers Talk, when I asked her to speak, she was so honored and privileged, which makes me feel good that there's a beautiful relationship there. And there's always that strategic partner brand alliance that I'm looking for. Building out trusted stages means that I am handing my students, my audience, my people over in a standard of care. And she has given it all. So let me see if I can put her on the stage properly and share this beautiful message that she has recorded for us.
To spend a few minutes with you today. My name is Anshu Tiwari and I'm a founder of Global Speakers Talk. Over the last few years, I have had the privilege of hosting thousands of speakers from different countries, industries, and backgrounds through summits, TEDx-style talks, podcasts, and global events. Today, I would like to share a simple question. What makes an event organizer invite speakers back? Many people think it's fame, followers, awards, or experience. But from what I have seen, the answer is much simpler. The speakers who get invited back are the ones who create trust, deliver value, and show professionalism. Yes, exactly. And let me share a few lessons that I have learned. The first quality is commitment. Yes, if you say yes to an opportunity, honor your word. Exactly, honor your word. As organizer, we spend weeks planning events, promoting speakers, coordinating schedules, and preparing the audience experience. The speaker who stand out are not always the most famous one. They are the ones who show up prepared and committed. So the second quality is preparation. The best speaker often join early, test their audio, check their camera, review their setup, and make sure everything is ready. Yes, everything is ready. Preparation create confidence. When you are not worried, about technical issues. You can completely focus on your serving your audience. The third quality is focusing on the audience instead of yourself. Yes, don't focus on yourself more. This is the one of the biggest lesson I have learned from hosting thousands of speakers. Sometimes people they spend a lot of time talking about their awards, achievements, certifications, and accomplishments. But why? Now, achievements are wonderful, yes, wonderful, but audience are not sitting here wondering how many awards you have won. Exactly. They are asking, can this speaker inspire me? Can this speaker teach me something valuable?
Let me know if it freezes.
And can this speaker help me? People care less about your title, more about your message. Yes, exactly. You are hardly care about who I am. You are just
I'm froze. I don't have any access.
Yeah, it looks like she's going. Anshu, thank you so much. I'm. Is there a way to pull the video down, Debbie?
Just let them know that I'm frozen and that I can't.
I can
Yeah,
hear you, Debbie. And yeah, the video, the volume, the audio on the video is out.
yeah. I wonder if we can. Let's see. Technical difficulties, everybody.
Yeah,
But I can
it's
hear you,
part of our
Lani, and I
life.
think Sofie. It is. It is definitely just a way, a glitch in the matrix.
Yep. Is there any way to fast forward it so that it will end itself?
Oh, Debbie, yeah. Debbie has not been able to, but perhaps, Debbie, if you wanted to put something in the chat, I just want to make sure that, Lani, and I know we've gotten a little over time. Sofie, if you're still there. Oh, she left.
Yeah.
Oh,
But I think the message was very similar to what our two other speakers had given us earlier about focusing on the audience.
oh, and she's back.
Hey, there's Debbie. Here we go.
That's one way to end the video.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
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 So yes, thank you for always having a team. I didn't know if it would kick you off when I went off. But I think that this is important. Again, we had tech issues earlier, and what does it look like to have people that you can trust on your team, whether they are on the real, back end team. But we all, Jenny and I could talk about this for hours of what do you need to have in place in case something like this happens, or a speaker doesn't show up, or you're supposed to go longer and you have something happening in your house. Like, there's so many things. But what I think is really important in the lesson that we just shared here is it was the same message from every one of these event producers. Be flexible, show up, know who the audience you're serving. Make sure you're speaking for the audience, to the audience, not at the audience. None of us want the person that goes, you should do this and you should do that. You tell a story that helps them understand that you resonate and that you know and that you understand them. You also understand their fears, where they're at, their belief system, the objections, the struggles they're having. And as a transformational leader, is how to move them through that. And that's when you're truly shining your unique light and being at service for your audience and the producer. So I think this is a perfect time for us just to say goodbye and just again, graduation. Congratulations for the graduation. We're going to take a screenshot. So if everybody can just give us a quick smile and love it. Love it. Thanks so much, everyone. If you are somebody that was watching Celebration and you want to leave a message for the graduates, please do. They want to hear what stood out. If you're somebody that's like fell across this and said, what is Leadership Momentum Accelerator? What is graduation? And you want more, please reach out to Jenny and I. We're happy to have a conversation with you. And then come join the Shine Circle and witness these mentors teaching their wisdom every month inside of the Shine Circle. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.